Welcome this week to our video blog. Before I start to tell you about some of the top roles that we're working on and some changes in the retail sector, I just need to tell you about a story that I gained from one of my clients. Went up to Spalding last week and this very entertaining client sat me down. He said, "Max, I've got to tell you a story about my father." So, okay, far away. Well, he got a letter recently from the tax man saying that there'd been a lot of inconsistencies with his accounts, that there seemed to be lots of large amounts of money coming and going, and as such they wanted to meet him in the tax office for him to explain as to why there was so much movement going on within his current account. So his father contacted his solicitor, who's known for 30 odd years, and the solicitor said, "Oh yeah, no, this is a bit tricky. I think we ought to go see the tax man, but I'll come along with you." So time and date was set, and our contact's father went to the tax office up in the East Midlands, and got welcomed in, got shown into the main tax office, and sat at the end of the tax man's desk. And the tax man said, "Well, so there seems to be a lot of large cash transfers in and out of your account, and we've got to check this for money laundering purposes and so on and so forth. We just need to know what this money is about. You seem to be a retired gentleman by the paperwork. What are you doing? Where's this money all coming and going from?" And the chap explained, "Well, Mr. Taxman, you see, I'm an avid gambler. I do a lot of gambling." And the taxman scratched his head and said, "Well, I don't understand. What are you gambling on for such large amounts of money to be coming and going?" And the chap said, "Well, just personal things." "What do you mean personal things?" said the taxman. "Well, can I give you an example, Mr. Taxman?" And the taxman said, "Okay, far away." "Well, Mr. Taxman, are you a betting man?" And the taxman said, "Well, actually, I am a bit of a betting man. What are you suggesting?" "Well, Mr. Taxman, if I can bite my eyeball, will you give me £2,000? Well, that's, yeah, well, you're never going to be able to do that, so yeah, I'm up for that bet, £2,000. "Okay, Mr. Taxman, watch this." Plops out his eye and bites his eyeball, cleans it up, puts it back in again. The taxman goes, "No, this is outrageous. How did you manage to do that?" "Okay, Mr. Taxman, are you still a betting man?" "Yep, I'm still a betting man." "Okay, should we go double or quits? Shall I bite my other eyeball?" And the taxman goes, I saw him come in, he drove in, he didn't have any sort of white stick, so he cut, yep, I'm up for it. We'll go for another £2,000. "Okay, no problem." Pops out his teeth, bites his other eyeball. Taxman goes, "No, this is outrageous." And the chap says, "Well, Mr. Taxman, come on, shall we go large on this? Are you still a betting man?" And the taxman said, yes, I am." "Okay, Mr. Taxman, well, you see that bin over there, that's about 12 foot the other side of your desk?" Yes, I see it." "Well, if I urinate into that bin and I don't drop a drop anywhere on your table or your chair, are we okay? Will we be double or quits? Will you give me, or can you give me £10,000? And the taxman said, "Yep, okay, I'm up for this. I'm a betting man." And so the old chap gets up, stands up, undoes his flies, and then he urinates everywhere, over the desk, over the chair, over the carpet. And the taxman's going, "Yahoo! I've won all this money. I've won £10,000 off this old chap. This is brilliant." And then he turns around and he sees the solicitor. And the solicitor's there holding his head in his hand. And the taxman said, "What's wrong with you?" And the solicitor says, "Well, I just took a £50,000 bet that my client wouldn't urinate all over your desk and all over your office." What a story. So Gina, you're looking up. No. Why didn't you answer the phone?
Because I'm talking to you, and I'm not going to be rude.
So tell us, what is your pumpkin? Tell us about your pumpkin challenge that's coming up.
This is our first pumpkin patch, and we're doing it for our charity GWIS.
Yep.
And so every pumpkin is going to help change a local life. And we're also teaching children where pumpkins are grown rather than picked from a supermarket crate.
Okay.
And we're showing the life of a pumpkin, and we're having some fun with it.
Brilliant, because 6 out of 10 children do not know where fruit and veg comes from. So to make it as entertaining as this as possible is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So where can we find out more about it?
Well, you can come along next week. We're going to only be open from the 20th until the 28th of October.
Yep.
And you can see we have a maze, which you'll be able to see behind you. There is a maze, and it's going to be a free of charge to go in it, because whoever comes here, we want them to have an adventure, and we don't want to have any price barrier about being too expensive or too reasonable. Everyone who comes is going to be helping GWIS, and you can learn about it by going to GWIS geewiz.com, GEEWIZ.
On the bottom of the page, fantastic.
Geewiz.com with no H in the whiz.
Okay.
And yeah, we'd love to see as many people here. And there's going to be somebody serving great hot chocolate, and we're having a tuck shop. But this is not a commercial venture. This is a small venture for the charity, and it's our first time of growing amazing.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
Amazing pumpkins. So here they are.
Gina, thank you very much. Thank you for allowing us to film in here. Thank you.
Lovely seeing you. Bye, Harry.
Over the last couple of weeks, we've had a large number of new roles in, so we'd love you to have a look at them on our website. So just as a snapshot, we have got Audit and Compliance Manager in for Spain and South America. We've got a Nursery Manager role in Bulgaria. Senior Lead Assessors, we need a number of them for Holland, Finland and Belgium. We've got an Interim Quality Manager in Spalding just come live. Crop Protection Specialist in East Suffolk. Number of commercial roles, junior commercial roles and senior commercial roles, both in the likes of Spalding and Kent. We've got a finance manager role just come live in Kenya, and also we've got a commercial director role coming live for a new startup within the UK, which looks to be very interesting. Okay, so just moving over to what's happening in the retail sector. I don't know if any of you picked up, there's been quite a big monumental change in America, that there's been the big collapse of the SEARS stores. Now SEARS used to be the 4th largest company in America, but it's gone the way of a squashed pumpkin, mainly because they didn't innovate. As we posted up earlier this week, in this retail sector, you've got to innovate or you'll die. And if you look at what's happening within M&S, they do not want to die. So they've completely revamped their food team this week, mainly because they've seen such a sharp decline across their business. Last profits, they saw a 62% drop. And so they've started up a transformation program with one of the main highlights being that they've just acquired Tesco's George Wright, who was Commercial Director of Fresh Food, to come in as Commercial Director for Trading and Supply Chain for M&S. On the back of him coming in, there's also some departures. Probably most interestingly for the fresh produce sectors is that we're going to see Stuart Forder leaving early in the new year from M&S. So M&S, are they going to go the way of SEARS? You'd hope not. They seem to be dragged down by their clothing side, whilst the food side seems to be relatively stable. But it's going to be fascinating to see what George does with the business to keep it up, especially with the threat of the discounters and the likes of Amazon, if and when they come online. So the only thing you can predict about retail is change. So let's see what happens next week. Thank you very much.